Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander. Welcome to match 3 of Rats, Spirits, 5 Colors, and Samurai. I already rolled the dice. 5 Colors is going to go first, so let's just jump right in. Draw for turn. Cinderglade comes in tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. I do not, so we will pass. Here's one that would have been helpful in the last game. We're going to go with Cathedral of War. It enters tapped, but it has Exalted. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and you can tap it for 1 colorless mana. Pass. Draw over here. We'll play a Swamp for turn. No 1-drops, so we will go ahead and pass. Untap. Play a Plains. Tap that into a Soul Ring. Unfortunately, no 2-drops that are colorless or anything, so we'll pass. All right, starting turn 2. We're going to untap, upkeep, draw. Sweet. I will play a luxury suite. That's not why I said sweet the first time. Comes in tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents. I do. And I will go ahead and I just want to check real quick here. I'm going to tap for a Soul Ring. Unfortunately, I don't have any 3-drops, so doesn't get me too far ahead, but still, a couple Soul Rings is nice. We're going to go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. I will play a Plains over here, tapping both for an Arcane Signet. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a Swamp for turn, tapping both for a Rat Colony. It's a 2/1. Rat Colony gets +1/+0 for each other rat you control. The deck can have any number of cards named Rat Colony. We're going to go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Now here's where things get a little dicey because unfortunately we do not have access to black yet. And the other land I have in my hand is also a Plains. So we still have 4 mana, though it has to be a white spell. I'll just tap these 2 for Haunted Library. Oops, that's right in the glare zone. Haunted Library. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you may pay 1. If you do, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. That's all we can do here. We'll pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. I will play Sea of Clouds. Comes in tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents. I do, which is really good because we're already behind on this commander as well. Both 2-drops. Actually, these are the 2-drops should have been out on turn 2, of course. But we're going to go green and white to play. Jensen Carthalion, Druid Exile. 2/2. Whenever you cast a multicolor spell, scry 1. If that spell was all colors, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. And you can pay 5 mana, tap him, and then make Wooburg to use that kind of as a filter. All right, I have 3 mana open, but no 3-drops that I can play. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. I will play a mountain. That way I have all of my colors over there. Now, I believe what we'll do... Will this still work? It probably will not. That's fine. We're going to tap 2 for a Pearl Medallion. White spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That means I can play 3-drops for 2, and I actually do have that. So we're going to tap this for white, this for 1 other, and play Norika Yamazaki the Poet. Yamazaki the Poet. It's a 3/2 with vigilance. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, you may cast target enchantment card from your graveyard this turn. So that's helpful. But that's it. No hasties, so we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Play a swamp. And then I think we should just go ahead and pull out the commander. Harumonics, the Rat King. 3/3 with Toxic 1. Other rats you control have Toxic 1. Whenever Harumonics enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal any number of rat cards from them. Put them in your hand, rest go on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, I actually hit this time. 2 rat colonies. The rest go on the bottom. There's a Soul Ring for this deck. Now, let's see if we have to discard down, fortunately. Well, we're not going to discard just yet, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I will have to. All right, so we can go to combat, and our rat has Toxic 1. And it's actually getting a buff from here, so it's a 3-1. So I think we're just going to go ahead, swing it at spirits. Sorry, man. 1, 2, 3. 3 damage, but also 1 poison counter. And then we're going to go ahead and pass turn. You know, it's kind of beating somebody when they're down. Ah, but I just drew a swamp, so that's good. So we'll go ahead and tap 2 to play Illicore Sadistic Priest, a 2/2 with Death Touch. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life. Whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. We have 3 mana, but unfortunately, we cannot play anything. So we'll pass. See, that's kind of good that the rats got in early because now everyone's got a blocker. We're going to untap, upkeep, draw, see what kind of lands I have. I only have this Reliquary Tower, so we will play that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. That's a lot of mana. We should be able to do something good with that. Man, I cannot even play those 2. I have 2 decent buff spells, static buffs, but I need double white to play them. That's unfortunate. All right, so we do have green, red, and blue, and 2 others, so we'll do this then. Green, red, blue, 2 others for Serac, Dragonclaw. A 6/6, this spell can't be countered. Any creature spells you control can't be countered. Other creatures you control have trample. So he's a pretty powerful card to have in your deck, or indeed commander, because he makes all of your creatures uncounterable as long as he's on the field, and it gives them all trample. Now, trample with my little 2/2 is not going to help, but I do have a cast trigger because he is a multicolored spell. I scry. It's a land. It's not a white land, which is what I need to cast those other spells. So we'll go ahead and put that to the bottom. Plus, I need to get some more creatures anyway. I really can only attack with him. He's a 2/2. Not even worth trying at this point. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Now, you'll remember if you watched last game, I would play a Plains Return, that it kind of stalled out because everybody got just enough creatures out to just stalemate. No one could attack because the first person to attack was then going to be the first person to die. I'm going to try and see if we can play a little faster in the sense that, like, be a little more aggressive so that doesn't happen a second time. So I played that Plains Return, and I only have, unfortunately, not buff spells, but just one Swords to Plowshare and Rip Apart, which are situational. I will then tap a Mountain, tap a Plains, tap a Cathedral, and we will play Ryu Storm's Edge. 3/3 with first strike. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, untap it. If it's the first combat phase of the turn, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. Remember, white spells do cost 1 less thanks to Pearl Medallion, and he does count as a red and a white spell, so he gets that adjustment. So I have 2 mana left, but like I said, nothing I can actually play. So now here is where we probably should start getting aggressive. Because he is a 3/3 with first strike, so he can, well, he cannot kill Serac by any stretch of the imagination. Well, he could with both hits, you know. No, he doesn't have double strike. What am I saying? He just has first strike. So yeah, he'll die if I go that direction. These 2 are where you probably want to send it, and I think you want to send it at rats. Now that's going to make rats want to attack back, and we know that I had to reveal those. I didn't have to reveal them as I was looking at the top 5, but I had to reveal them and put them in my hand. So everyone knows I have at least 2 more rat colonies. So ticking off rats might not be the best idea. But then again, do you want to gang up on this person for no real reason? He's done nothing. They've done nothing. They're not a threat. Whereas we know rats kind of is a threat. I think we're going to have to play it. I mean, we got to play it threat-based, right? So we're going to move to combat. We're going to attack rats. He's going to untap, and there will now be a second combat. So you've got a 3/3 with first strike coming at you. If you block with your commander, the commander dies and mine stays. But if you don't block, you're going to take 6 commander damage. However, like we said, we know they're going to get some more rats out pretty quick. That will buff that rat for sure. So I think maybe you take it at this point. It's really early in the game. Go ahead and take 6 damage and 6 commander. I don't know, but the best way to put that so we don't think it's a character, but yeah. Now, whenever it attacks alone, you may cast a target enchantment. I don't have one. Until end turn, so that's fine. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. We will then play a swamp for turn. And we're like, okay, man, you got our attention if that's what you wanted. We'll save that. It's a pretty decent card. I mean, obviously playing 2 rat colonies is your go-to move at this point. It's pretty obvious. It's probably what I should do. Yeah, I guess we have to. I guess that's the smart, safe play. Play tap 2, rat colony, tap another 2, another rat colony. Uh, for your understanding, I have a Herald's Horn. I was thinking, play Herald's Horn, choose rats. That means they cost 1 less to cast. And then I had 1 left, and I have a Typhoid rat, which I could then, or I could have played a rat colony for 1, the 1 remaining, and then you get the at the beginning of your upkeep stuff. But I think at this point, that's probably going to be a good turn next turn play because I have another land to play as well. Whereas you want these creatures out for blocking early, right? Just to make sure you have a big presence. Right, so that is tapped from the second attack. Now, this can kill, well, this can kill anything I send at it from the rat side. But right now, 1, 2, 3. So all rat colonies are getting +3/+0. This is a 5/1. This is a 3/3. They both have toxic 1. The problem, of course, being the smart move is to send both. That way, a toxic damage gets through, and you do some other damage. However, he's obviously going to block the commander, taking the 5 damage, and then I have to recast the commander, which will slow down that would be almost not a waste of mana at this point, but, rat colonies are so much cheaper. It'd be easier to dump more of those than waste 3 mana, which would actually be 5 mana. I would have to use everything next turn just to recast him. Um, but yeah, we will go and swing a 5/1 at you. You swing at me, I swing at you. He's probably not stupid. He's going to be like, you know what? Fine, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take the 5. I'm still beating you at 35 life, but I still have my creatures. Now I can block with these guys and kill anything he sends next turn, but that's all we got right now. We're going to pass. I don't believe anyone has any kind of triggers that worry about anybody else just yet, so we're good there. We're going to untap, upkeep, draw. Wow, more planes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Well, we're definitely going to do this. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We play Cliffhaven Vampire. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. So a creature enters the battlefield under my control, so I'm going to gain a life. Now, I don't believe this is going to kick in just yet because it's entering the battlefield. And like when the creature enters the battlefield, he's not on the battlefield yet, so it's like it triggers the life gain, and then he resolves. And then next time I gain life, I believe it would be everyone would lose a life. But I do need to pay attention to this because this is when a creature an opponent controls dies. I can pay 1 and make something. No graveyards have anything, so we're good there. We're going to go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Okay then, another land. It is more white though, at least. So comes in tapped unless you have 2 or more other lands, which I do. It's overgrown farmland, so we're good. I will then tap a white and a white. 1, 2, and 3. He played Dictate of Heliod. It is Flash, and this is the kind of thing that, you want to try and, trick somebody, rope a dope, like, oh, I think I used rope a dope incorrectly, to be honest. I know I said that a couple times last game. Um, but the concept is just, oh, yeah, I'm going to swing in with my 2/2, and you're going to be like, oh, that's dumb. I'll take it. Or I'll block with my, something small. Cool, I flash in Dictate now. It's a 4/4. Um, that's the proper way to use the flash card like that. Again, at this point, I don't feel the need. I just don't. Like, I'm not trying. There's no situation that I really am desperate to try and sneak, be super clever with it. So it's just like just get it on the field. That means he is an 8/8 and he is a 4/4. Unfortunately, he doesn't have trample. I would almost rather the flash gone and the trample on him, but that probably makes him too powerful or something. I don't know. Regardless, he is an 8/8. I do want to start swinging that somewhere as well. Let's see. Now I've been untouched. So where do we go? Do we swing it at them? See, now they are going to start paying us. Whenever they play a creature, they're going to gain life. We're all going to start. He's got the double attacks. He's got a ton of rats. I really think I'm enjoying how it's one of those decks. Again, I hate it when I make a deck that's like this, where it's like it's so not so good, but I mean it's certainly a simplistic deck. There's only a handful of ways you can really build it smartly, and that is a bunch of rats. The other cards I have in the deck are kind of like unnecessary. So this is going to be a threat. Not necessarily as much as my like Toxtrol deck was and stuff like that, but it's just gonna be like, oh yeah, he's just gonna be dumping rats and trying to get us with overwhelm us with rats and toxics, or yeah, toxic ones. So think maybe he's gonna send Serac in your direction. 8/8 can be chump blocked, which I think he's gonna have to do. He's gonna block with one rat. The rat gets destroyed, and it does not kill him because 1, 2, 3. So yeah, those are just a 5/1. But at least I don't take 8 damage over there for the time being. And now, again, it's like, hey, we're making enemies, but rats are a little bit weaker now, so we'll see. So all we can do here, I did not play a multicolored spell, so I didn't miss that trigger. We're going to untap, upkeep, draw. No upkeep triggers. We will go ahead and play a Rogue's Passage, because that's actually really important. And to be honest, that's probably what we just need to start playing. And like not even worry about. I didn't get any other good cards to play. I got a land, so now is the perfect time to start doing this. So we're gonna move to combat, and we're gonna tap 4, tap Rogue's Passage. My commander is now unblockable. Unfortunately, he's not getting a buff from anything. Oh yes, he is. I missed that. Darn it! The first time he attacked, I missed the Cathedral Wars buff. So we let that go through. So it was actually 8 damage. I apologize. Um, So once again, he is now 4/4 when he attacks alone, and he's going to get a second combat. So we move to combat, we declare attackers. He's unblockable thanks to Rogue's Passage. He untaps, there's a second combat. He attacks again. That's a total of 8 damage. Okay, right? I think so. Because we were at 34, but it was actually 32. 2, and then shoot. I think because I kept tapping and it wasn't working. Hang on, hang on. Oops, let's not go crazy. Okay, so we hit him for what should have been 8 the first time, which brought him down to 32. Nobody else did anything else to him. Blocked there. So now another 8. Okay, that's better. All right. And then of course, so that means this was an 8, which means it's now 16. So yeah, Rats is screwed. And actually, depending on this, unless everyone starts ganging up, everyone's kind of screwed now that thanks to Rogue's Passage. So that's just a lucky play. Of course, we also need some targeted removal, which we do have, so we need to remember that. Which we will not, but we should. Okay, so that's all we can do there. I do not have an enchantment to do that stuff. I don't have any mana anyway. Untap, upkeep, draw. Now I play another swamp for turn. And let's see. I have enough mana to do. You know what? I might as well just do this. Instead of, I know I still have the Herald's Horn tactic I wanted to do, but under the circumstances, we're going 2 mana for Rat Colony, 2 mana for Rat Colony, 1 mana for Typhoid Rats. So 1/1 with Death Touch, and that's it. But it's still a rat. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each rat colony is getting +5 +0. So these are now 7 ones. These are 7 ones. Now, at this point, well, I mean, Rats really doesn't have much options. Rats is going to die on his next turn with from commander damage. Unfortunately, he will, unless I get another thing that buffs him, it'll still take both attacks instead of being able to like first attack, declare it over here, untaps, and then second attack phase I could declare it somebody else. But in order to get the 21 commander damage, he'll have to strike both times with 4 damage. So again, we're at that conundrum where it's like if I swing all 3 rats and do a bunch of damage, it's just going to help someone else kill him. We're not going to get any benefit from it. So do we do that? You know? Do we swing these things at someone else just to be like, let's lower the bar for everybody? I don't know. I still really, it's one of those things. Like, I really hate it because it's like, what do you do? What would you guys do in these kind of situations? Do you just, oh, I mean, yeah, you're gonna go out swinging. That's a given. But do you swing back at the person that's gonna kill you when it's not really gonna matter except for helping everyone else? Or do you say, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna knock you guys down a peg and like put you all at the same level, sort of. But I guess Rats attacking anybody else just ends up helping him anyway, so there's no point in giving the game to him since he's killing me. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and swing everything at you. You're gonna block the Rat King with yours. They both die. Now toss 2 more to do that. Now damage happens simultaneously. Simultaneously, which means these are still 7 ones. They do 14 damage. And 2 poison. Okay, so I have blockers, but he can make it unblockable, so it doesn't matter. And we will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. I think at this point everyone realizes I'm going to play a Terramorphic Expanse, crack it to get a Swamp to try and help even out my mana on this side. For some reason it's giving me nothing but plains. Shuffle up real quick. Yeah, so it's kind of quite obvious that these two, oops, I probably showed the camera, sorry, but these two guys have to start ganging up on Samurai real fast if they're going to survive. So I played that for turn, and we will then go 1, 2, and 3 to play Drana's Emissary. It's a 2/2 with flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Is that a infinite combo? Hang on. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. When you gain a life, okay, yeah, it's not. It felt very Sanguine Bond, Exquisite Blood like, but it only happens 1 time on this side, so that's fine. And this is my 1 poison counter. Okay, that's true. I did forget about this. So 2 creatures died. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you may pay 2, or you may pay 1 per creature and make a white flying spirit. So that was on their steps. That was on his attack phase, so I could do that. I had the mana open. I paid that, so then everything on tap. Well, did I? Let's see. This wasn't there, and I played him. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I still had 2 mana open. So I could, in fact, do that. Phew. Okay. But anyway, here's the 3. We play that. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 left. That is not enough to play anything else. But that's cool. Now we got some flyers. And technically, these flyers do not have a summoning sickness because they were on the battlefield at my upkeep, which is what clears summoning sickness. Because they came in on his combat phase, so I can swing with these. And more things happened. Okay, so I apologize. I am doing this a little late. It should have been done on his attack phase. These all should have stacked onto the combat triggers, but well, on the end of combat because of probably like main phase. Well, no, end of combat when they went to the graveyard. I would have paid the 2. They would have come in. 2 instances of creatures enter the battlefield. I would have gained 2 life, and then when you gain life, each opponent loses a life. So then everybody would have lost 2 life because of that. Okay, now we are properly caught up. At least I'm catching this stuff in game within a reasonable amount of time. It's not like I'm catching this while I was over there. That'd be like a bunch of turns later. So I don't know. It's kind of progress on my, you know, taking care of the battlefield. It's not really make much of a difference in terms of my skill levels, but anyway, that all happens. Now we come over to my turn. I untap, I upkeep, I drew, played the Terramorphic Expanse, actually, which means that swamp I get would have come intact, which is fine because I still had enough mana to play Drana's Emissary. The creature entered, so I gain a life, and then everybody would have lost a life. However, that's the beginning of upkeep, so that doesn't do anything. Okay, so there we go. I hope I didn't miss a life lost there, but whatever. I mean, whatever in one life can be a big difference, but I don't think I did. I hope I went across all 3. So now we are finally at combat on this turn, and we will then swing the 3 of these at you. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you take 4 damage. Okay, there we go. Fortunately, no buffs over here, so they're not very strong, but there you go. We are then going to finally pass turn from over here, and now it is Slowpoke freaking multicolors that never. I think it won last game, but still, it doesn't really do what it's supposed to do fast enough. We untap, we upkeep, we draw. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Not enough for any big, crazy, cool things. Let's see. No, I don't have enough mana to do that either. Gosh darn it. Not enough mana of the proper colors, anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 cards. That would be 4, 2. Okay. Let's try and get some options. We're going to pay for white, black, and green to do Abzan Charm. I draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Draw and draw. Okay? That actually helps. Now, the other one is exile target creature with power 3 or greater. That could exile of that. But like I said, this character has Deadly Rollick, so we're fine on terms of like. And Deadly Rollick is instant as well, so his second he starts swinging that over here, we're fine. So let's try this. We'll tap green and 2 for Dryad of the Elysian Grove, a 2/4. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. Yay, mana fixing. I still say he's an enchantment creature. I still say he should be a legendary. I don't like the fact that he isn't, because this is supposed to be a legendary deck, but he's one of those ones where it's like, that's too good of a card to not put in. Okay, 1 mana left. That could be 1 mana of any color, but uh, nothing to play. So we are looking at a 4/4, an 8/8, and now a 4/6 with Summoning Sickness. Okay, now he is wide open. And the smart move, and we're at 35 life, there's 41. Now he's got a bunch of flyers that we're going to have to contend with, which will be bad. Okay, hang on. Sorry, I did. See, now that's. So I instant speed played that, but that means I should have scribed. But you know what? I mean, that's what happened. So I will have scribed, but I would have seen Dryad of Elysian Grove. I definitely would have left it there. So in this case, it's okay. I got to remember that his thing goes on the stack. So we should probably swing. Well, what is that? 6? That's 10. 10 damage in that direction. Now over here, it's a 2/2 and a 2/2 with Death Touch though, that one. So swinging anything in that direction is not the safest bet until we're really ready for it. I say, what shall we do? No, see, swinging both of these to hit for 10 and getting them down to 4, is that really all that important? Because what's he going to do? If he doesn't kill rats on his turn, rats will kill him. If he does swing at rats, he dies anyway because someone else kills him. So he's going to die no matter what. So going crazy against him probably isn't necessary. So we'll swing the 8/8, do 8 damage, get him down to 6, kind of maybe entice the flyers to go there one last time, right? And then that's all we can do. There's no other kind of trigger, so we will pass. And so it comes down to here. Untap, upkeep, we draw. Now that's good. So we're going to play the planes for turn. Oh, that's so stupid. You know what? Uh, I think we have to take that back, guys. I will be this. I drew this planes. I will be playing it, but we're gonna kind of reset because what I've said before is it's one thing to try and get better at knowing what's on the battlefield. I'm never gonna get to the point where I remember what's in everybody's hands. So we're gonna take this back up to 8, or go back up 8. Oops. Right? Yeah, 14. Because I had the Swords to Plowshares and the Arcane Signet wasn't tapped. So we would have, in response to you declaring attackers, we tap Arcane Signet, we Swords to Plowshare that thing. Now your creatures can be countered if someone has a counter spell, and we don't take that damage. So now we untap, we draw this planes, we play it. I will then, well, right, we got to be careful now. We will tap these two to play Iganjo Exemplar. It's a 2/1. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn. That allows for a double strike. Not double strike, but a double, whatever you want to call them. Going at 2 different people. Because we're going to tap for 4, tap Rogue's Passage, making our commander unblockable. We will then move to combat. Now he's attacking alone. He's going to get 2 buffs, one from Cathedral, one from the Exemplar, making him a 5/5 with first strike. He's unblockable. He's going to hit for 5 commander damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But like I said, 5 commander damage is boom, 21. Rats, unfortunately, dies very early. And then this, of course, would untap on the declaring attackers. Now there is a second combat. Because it's a second combat phase, additional combat phase after this one. It doesn't say you have to attack the same thing twice. So now I will move to combat and attack someone else. And let me see. This creature can't be blocked this turn, so the Rogue's Passage is still in effect, meaning he is unblockable against whoever he wants to go against. And you just tried to smack me for 8, although you have the flyers, so the flyers are the more important one. So we are going to send that 5 commander damage at you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here I will put that as... So, actually, we'll just do this. Now this is commander damage because we don't have to worry about the infect anymore. This can basically go away. Now I know, obviously, if someone else has anything, infect, toxic, poison, it could come into play, or if anyone had any kind of proliferate, but these decks really shouldn't, so we're okay. So that was, I'm glad I remembered that. Well, I didn't remember that, stupid swords, but I'm glad, I had it. So it's giving Samurai a bit of a chance. Not much, but it's something. I don't think he can kill another player anyway, because that would still only be another 10 damage next turn, which would put him at 15 commander. It's not enough. I would have to get some really good buffs, which I don't think that might be a way to reconfigure this, is to be one on, like, because I know there's a bunch of samurai in here and warriors that really aren't that great. Like, what did we lose, right? This thing. You can play an enchantment from your graveyard. I mean, I love the art and I like to put it in there, but I should probably take this out and put in like a 1 or 2 drop red targeted spell where it's like where it buffs a creature, or actually does damage, but probably the buff creature because it's like, oh, here's a 3 drop that gives your target creature +2/+0 or +3/+2 or something like that to just stack onto the commander whenever we know he's going to get through. I think that might be a way we need to tweak this deck. But anyway, we've done everything. No end of turn effects. We're going to pass. I really would have liked to have seen rats win a couple games, but it still does pretty well. It's just it makes itself a real target real fast. And because these rat colony have toughness of 1, it's too easy for people to just chump block and kill them, even though they're like giant. With like 6/1s or 7/1s. It's still not, they don't have trample. And black isn't the easiest to give trample to. So, anyway, we untap, we upkeep. I did not draw a card yet. Good, so I will draw. Okay, now we get a swamp. Play that. And then I believe we saw this once before. Okay, so wait a second. Did any creatures die? Yes, his did. The Surok died because how is that worded? No, it's exile, so that did not die. Right. Okay, so we didn't miss a trigger. We're gonna go ahead and tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play uh, Thalis Reverent Medium. 3/4 at the beginning of each end step. Create X1/1 white creature tokens with flying, where X is the number of tokens you created this turn. So if we can get some creatures from opponent's creatures to die, and then tap to make this, we could, then on beginning of each end step. So anytime we make a token, and the next end step, they'll make more. So that's cool. I did miss that upkeep trigger. Hang on. Sorry. I need to remind I have an upkeep trigger. Beginning of upkeep, each opponent loses a life and you gain 1 life. Gain 1, lose 1, lose 1. We'll just put them down to 0 so we know they're gone. Okay, and then because I gained 1 life, each opponent loses a life. So boom. Oh, that is a nice synergy there. Okay, so that was that. So now I play the creature. Creature entered the battlefield under my control. I gain a life. Because I gained a life, each opponent loses a life. Okay, we're cooking with gas now. All right, and then we're going to do that even more with more flying. So, unfortunately, Samurai still is not going to be able to pull out the win here. Because what we're going to do is we're going to send all of these his way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 damage. You got to wonder. At this point, again, we're in a situation where it might be politicking. Because it might be, the smart move for spirits would be like, hey, listen, you're pretty low. I can crack you for 6. If I send that over there, how about you stop worrying about me for a while with your commander and send your commander damage over there? That would give you time. You might be able to build up a board state or figure out a way to like not die to my flyers. It's like yeah, ha ha ha. But I mean, and you're in their position, they probably would take that deal. Be like, okay, I'll take that bet. But again, I'm not gonna, I can't do that because it would be really stupid to like politic with myself in that sense. So I guess the smart move is to just swing it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. Entice them to do whatever they're going to do against him, kill him, letting us have a little bit more time to board stay up and take him out somehow. Because Spirits is still doing really well, 38 life. They are in a great position to hopefully keep going. And we do have a board wipe in hand should things get not in our favor. There's no end step triggers, so we're going to go ahead and pass turn. Well, there is one, but it didn't happen, so because we didn't make any kind of tokens. Untap, upkeep, draw. All right, not really what we need at this point. We are going to play Spara's Headquarters. The land comes in tapped. So that does not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We still do not really have any more lands that we need. So we're going to go. Okay, so thankfully, lands tap for whatever we want them to at this point. So 1, 2, and 3 with 1 floating for Glorious Anthem. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Now we have 1 floating, and then green, white, and 1 other for Knight of New Alara. It's a 2/2. Each other multicolored creature you control gets +1/+1 for each of its colors. Now we have a trigger on the stack. We cast a multicolored spell. We get to scry one. It's spirits again. Let's see. Death touch, and well, I mean, gain life when you make a creature. I guess probably okay to leave that there. It's a small one though. Yeah, I guess it's still Still viable. Okay, so now, cool enough, my creatures are getting +3/+3 and more because of however many colors. So +3, 4, 5, or just 4. So that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That makes you a 7/7, no longer with trample, unfortunately. Other multicolored, so he's only a 5/5. And he is 3, 4, 5, 6. So he is a 6/8. Still some serious damage, and we've only got one blocker over there. He has summoning sickness, but basically, if we swing both, he dies. Because as we said, this was what was it? 2, 5, 6. So that's a 6, and this was like 2, 5, 6, 7. So 7 and 6 doesn't matter which one gets through. He's got 5 life. He dies. And now it would be tempting to go in that direction, but he's got the death touch. So we're going to go ahead and just, yeah, unfortunately, sorry, Samurai, you did a really valiant. I don't have the mana open to do anything. Nope. Ooh, I may have missed, yeah, I may have used up extra mana because I forgot about Pearl Medallion. It would have given me like 1 mana open, but wouldn't be enough to cast Rip Apart, and Rip Apart wouldn't kill anything anyway. Although I guess it could have killed that, which would lower those attacks. But again, it still would have been enough to kill him. Because then this would have been to a 6 and a 5 instead of a 7 and a 6. He was at 5. So there's no way he could have survived that. Okay, we are down to just these two. There's nothing else we can do from this side. There's no end step triggers. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep. No creatures died. So upkeep trigger, I'm going to gain a life, and opponents lose a life. And then whenever I gain a life, opponents lose a life. So there's that. We are going to then draw a card for turn. Okay, I'm going to play a Plains for turn. Everything does not have summoning sickness at this point. Okay. So let me show you. I got Silverquill Command. It's 4-drop. It's a sorcery. Choose 2. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains flying until end of turn. Return target creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard. Target player draws a card and loses a life, and target opponent sacrifices a creature. Okay, so obviously I'm thinking I'm going to use the first and the last. I say we make him sacrifice a creature, and we take one of our creatures and give it +3/+3 and give it flying. So we give one of the creatures that don't already have flying, flying. And I think it's just going to have to be this because it makes sense because he's a 3/4, or she is, I can't tell, with the foiling and the glare. Plus, we want to keep, because he doesn't have flying, we want to keep the Death Toucher on the ground for blocking. So yes, that's what we're going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Pay for things. All right. So he is now a 6 something, 6, 7, and you have to sacrifice a creature. Everything's got flying, and obviously you're going to want to get rid of your lowest guy. So, I mean, that is giving the buff, but it's not that big of a deal because right now, if we had a multicolored, really big multicolored creature, it'd be more important. But right now, it's only giving a buff of 2 and 1, so it's fine. All right, so we go in for the swing. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 damage. Still not, I mean, it's 12 damage is a solid hit. But at the same time, with the opening we had, that wasn't really all that impressive. And he has the potential to bring in, bigger creatures in his deck. Um, so while Spirits has shown some decent stuff, I think one of the games before it won, and this is a strong showing, it's still not doing what it's supposed to do. It's still not making the proper amount of Spirit tokens that I should. So I don't think it's going to last. I think I may be dismantling it. Sorry, Spirits, but we're going to go ahead and pass. Wait a second, hang on. It was target opponent sacrifices a creature whenever a creature an opponent controls dies. I guess that counts, huh? He sacked it, it still dies, right? You know what? I think I think I'm right. I think it still counts as dying because it's still going to go to the graveyard. But I'm not going to bother paying for it. So if that screws up, okay, that's on me. But all right, legendary. I don't know if you can pull this out, but it's either 39 life. You got a real big uphill climb. Draw for turn, which we knew what it was. Um, oh, that is so dumb. I forget we had Deadly Rollick, so we could have gotten rid of like something. But again, yeah, we could have gotten rid of 6 damage, which would have been big. But I mean, at this point, like it would have been like Deadly Rollick is a fantastic card to stop him from doing something. Against this, it's like, well, we could Deadly Rollick the commander so that maybe he doesn't get the life gain right off the bat, but it comes back in at 4 mana. He's got more than enough mana to recast it. That's irrelevant. Get rid of that thing. Yeah, it's decent, but I don't know. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Man, I really hate to play this again because we saw it one of the other games, but it would be stupid not to. 8 mana, Avacyn, Angel of Hope. Flying, Vigilance, Indestructible 8/8 with other permanents you control now have Indestructible. Cool, but she doesn't have haste as one of those keywords, which she kind of would need at this point. Because if I swing anything, he still has a death touch around on the ground. And I no longer have any real big spells. Now, at least I have a flyer that can stop something. But yeah, we really can't swing at this point. Even with these things getting buffed, they're only getting buffed by 3. So it's a 5 and a 5. So like 5/5 and a 5/6. Solid stats under normal circumstances, but without something like trample or anything, it's not going to help. I don't have any extra lands, do I? No? Okay. Okay. Unfortunately, we're going to have to pass. Untap, upkeep trigger. I'm going to gain a life, you lose a life, and because I gained a life, each opponent loses a life. Then I draw a card for turn. Huh, that's a nice. Unfortunately, I have Fell the Mighty, which I've had for a while. Destroy all creatures with power greater than target creatures, but unfortunately, they're all indestructible now, so it doesn't even help. But I will play what I just drew. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Dogged Pursuit. It's an enchantment. And it says at the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. So that's, if we went off of that weird, tiny little bits of life gain and death, that'll be kind of screwed up. But yeah, sure. All right. So to that end, do we even bother attacking? Because really, we don't want to send either one of these because they will absolutely be the ones that have us in blocks. And these are the only things doing damage. So if we swing with these two little spirits, I mean, she's going to block one of them, and then he takes one measly damage. I guess every little bit helps, so we'll try that. We'll see if that's something. But now we've got, what, a 11/11 coming in. Yeah, nope, 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 not going to do that. That would be exceedingly stupid. We want to keep these spirits up for jump blockers because she does not have trample. So, okay, yeah, we cannot bother attacking at this point. So we go to our end step. Each opponent loses a life, and we gain a life. It's turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Morphic Pool comes in tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents. I actually don't, so that does come in tapped. Now I will go ahead and tap 2 mana to play my Velas Ilkor Sadistic Pilgrim. So now at least I have something that can block the Death Touch with more Death Touch. We will go to combat. Because she has Vigilance, I will definitely swing an 11/11 flyer at you. You will block with that thing. Nothing gets through. Pass turn. Right? No, let's not go too fast. No 10 steppies. What did I just cast? I did cast, sorry. I did cast a multicolor. Joe to the Unifier. Oh, him. Yeah, he's actually really good. So we will leave that there. If we can get that next turn, that might actually be something. I was thinking he was the other Joda. So, all right, we're going to untap. We move to our upkeep trigger. Beginning of upkeep, each opponent loses a life and we gain a life. We gained a life, so each opponent loses a life. We're going to draw a card for turn. We are going to play 1, 2, 3, 4. Jeez. Rhoda Geist Avenger. Vigilance. Whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as an attacker, put a +1/+1 counter on the Avenger. Cool, I guess, but nothing special, really. Um, yeah, don't want to send any flyers in. This is hilarious. We're stalemating again. So we're going to go move to end step. Each opponent loses a life, we gain a life. I gained a life, each opponent loses a life. Okay, Pat's turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. We then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play Joda, the Unifier. A 5/5 legendary creatures you control get +X, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. Whenever you cast a legendary spell from your hand, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a legendary non-land card with lesser mana value. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost, put the rest in the bottom in any order. Basically, it gives you legendary cascade. Pretty awesome. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, he's not legendary. Each creature is getting +4/+4, thanks to him, plus that. So everybody's getting +7/+7. Now, this would be a great time to go swinging in. Well, they do have indestructible, huh? So the death touch doesn't actually matter on that. However, we're at 11, so if we swung in with everything, which is only 4 creatures, they're very big right now, but they're still only 4. He could block with those ones and then still swing in. Well, we would have an indestructible blocker, so he couldn't kill us on the crackback. Yeah, this might, and we still have Deadly Rollick as well. We gotta try and remember that. So, okay, I think that's what we do. Oh, well, first of all, a creature entered the battlefield under my control, so I gain a life. Uh, so we do get that little bonus. And we played a 5-color spell, which means first we scry, Great Henge, we can put that on the bottom, and we get an angel, 4/4 angel. Now we're okay. Now definitely we're swinging. Okay, so we move to combat. She's vigilant, nobody else is. We swing. Everyone is getting, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are getting +7/+7. So this is 9, 9. But basically, they're all 9 somethings. And she's ridiculously big. All right, so obviously, flyer blocks flyer. Nobody has trample. I think we'll definitely block one of them with this guy. Um, one of them with this guy. And then since this is the stuff that's like actually helping to win the game, well, to lower his life, I guess we'll actually sacrifice the commander. Why not? Right? It's not like he's doing any real work. So there's that. We have no end step triggers on this side, so we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep trigger. Upkeep, each opponent loses a life. I gain a life. I gained a life, so you lose a life. We draw a card. It's a swamp, right when we didn't need anything crappy. Oh, that is true. Whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. I believe he would have seen the other creatures dying, so that would have been 3 life. 1, 2, 3. Because it all happens, damage happens simultaneously during attack, so he is still on the battlefield when they all get hit and die. So, like, hit himself included, but he sees it. So, and it's other creatures. So those 3 that we sacrificed blocking would have done 3 damage to him. So there's that at least. Little like, meh, like screw you as he dies. Just I'm not swinging because wait, why am I even worried? He's got 44 life. He's got 7. But okay, he is They are giant. They are trekking through. Okay. So yes, we do want to leave them. We do not. We want more blockers. So okay, we move to our end step. At end step, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. This is really close on that ridiculous little bit of trickle life gain and death. So we're gonna. Okay, so we untap. I think we've got it. I think Legendaries has it. There's no upkeep triggers. We're gonna draw. Sure, we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 decanter of endless water. No maximum hand size. Actually, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, still one short on that. Now we would be able to do it next turn. So, okay, I mean, there's not even a question. We move to combat, we swing the board. Well, let's do the math first before you start getting stupid, right? Okay, so these two are non-legendary. These guys are the only ones getting the legendary buff from him. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Stat hasn't changed. So they're getting the 4, 5, 6, 7. No other buffs. Yes, so they are all getting 7, 7. These are 9, so that's 18. Plus 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. And then another 7 would be 30. Avison's 38 plus another 7 is, yeah, that's 45, 48, 40, 38 plus another 7. So exactly 45 plus these guys, which are still getting these buffs, meaning this is a 7/7 in the air. And, oh, that's right, blockers. We do need to consider blockers. Um, but so you're going to block this thing, obviously, is the biggest. Then you will block, I guess, this one because it's the biggest. Or no, no, duh. So you block this and you block Avison, obviously. Now let's calculate out the damage. All right, so this is 9, 18. 18 plus 4 is 22, plus another 3 is 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, I was like, oh boy, we got it, but nope. That's 30 damage. However, both things that do damage to us are gonna die. We'll only get pinged for one at his end step. Yeah, okay, so that's what we do. This stays vigilant, but these ones all. This actually vigilant as well. Sweet. So these all go. Swing. We do what we just said we do, and you take 30 damage. Down to 15. And we still have 2 blockers up in case he does something crazy. There's no end step triggers. I didn't cast a multicolor spell. We're going to pass. No upkeep trigger anymore. We draw for turn. That's not a good thing. We definitely don't want to do that. I drew Benevolent Offering. You choose an opponent. You and that player each create 3 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying. Awesome. Then you choose an opponent. You gain 2 life for each creature you control, and that player gains 2 life for each creature they control. That would not be good for for them. Because they would gain a crap ton of life, and we would not. We would only gain like 6 life. They would get like way more. So normally that's something you use when it's like, oh, you've got that would have been perfect. It's like, yeah, I'm going to choose, you know, you make some flyers, you gain life off of how many creatures you have. And then, nope. And my destruction spell, all of other permanents you control have indestructible, including all the enchantments and artifacts, by the way. So Avison is a fantastic card for that. But she needs to be removed with exile. Oops, shoot. I'm bouncing the darn it, bouncing the camera, apologize. But yeah, that's why she costs 8. Um, but I guess we move to our end step. Opponent loses a life, I gain a life. We pass turn. They untap, they draw combo, we play it, which would give everybody else another buff just to be a jerk. You swing in for kaboom, crazy big damage. Because it would be like 50, 60 damage probably. So there you have it. That was a crazy come from behind win for Legendaries. Not as fast as it would, should be, but it's good for a normal casual game. I think that was pretty solid. Rats, you know, again, maybe just the only way I can think to tweak that is to maybe figure out maybe some ways to give them trample or to give them, any kind of other static buffs or something to beef up the backside, the toughness. But even then, you're only going to get like a +1/+1, so it's not going to help that much. Giving them trample is probably the better bet, and or some more card drawing there if it doesn't have enough card drawing. But again, mono black. I don't know too many crazy black draw spells. But all right, I hope you guys had fun watching. I hope you saw some cards that interested you, and you might want to make your own, put in your own decks and all that. And I will see you guys next time.